What's up, everyone? How are you doing today? We have some big news. I actually we have 19 people on here already. All right. We're gonna go through a lot of. Oh, the camera's on the other side. We're gonna go through a lot of things about the engine before we get really too far into it. I have you mounted on my tripod with zip ties so that I don't shake you guys so much. There we go. There you can see this epic engine right here. So I've been trying to get hold of Tony to try to figure this out for a little while now. Actually, the last time I was able to talk to him was on the 24th. So the next step on this thing right here is, what are we going to do to solve the problem? Now, I actually was talking to Nick and John, both you guys, Nick and John. You guys are fantastic for putting up with me while I troubleshoot this thing and talk to you guys. And we actually do have a solution. So I got to say thank you all for hanging out and lash caps. Okay, so before we get into the conversations and stuff like that, we kind of have to do some housekeeping, and that's the big thing. And so when Tony actually emailed me, I was right as we were closing up our shop, and I was looking at potentially. Well, we had to put the Buick on hold, and we were looking for a temporary project. So Tony emailed me and had me call him. So I gave him a call, and he was really excited about doing a collaboration. Um, and I kind of put the title as the cautionary tale of Icarus. Icarus either got too giddy or greedy when he was flying. He wanted to go and capture the sun, and perhaps I did the same thing. When Tony actually reached out to me and he said, "Hey, we can get you 20 to 30,000 subscribers," my brain was like, he was like, "Do you want to become a professional YouTuber?" And I was like, I mean, this is my hobby. I was doing this for fun, but if you think it's fun for a career, then yeah. So I immediately said yes, and so the story began. I didn't have a Mopar at the time, so he said, find a 318 Mopar and we'll work on it. And I was looking at a couple darts and stuff, and that's when I found the two Plymouth satellites that turned out to be totally bad. Like, it made this thing look like the Taj Mahal. So we went down to New Jersey and picked up the satellite with this engine in it. That kind of gets you where we're at right now. And so we pulled the engine apart, which was the quickest I've ever pulled an engine apart. And we were getting ready to, I normally take weeks to just clean parts, bring it down to the shop and everything like that. So today that whole thing was way too quick. And I admit, I tried my best to get the heads clean. I ran them through the dishwasher. That's right. I ran them through the dishwasher 5 times. So they were actually very clean. And there was a little bit of grime on the outside, but internally they were good. And unfortunately, the block was, and this is like an epic journey of crazy proportions, one thing after another. The block turned out to be really, really bad. You guys know that. When I was doing a video on it, I showed that you can actually hear the audible click of the fingernail catching the ridge of the cylinders. So we talked about it, and there was a couple issues that were coming up, and I said, okay, we're as close as I'm going to be able to get it up here in a week. So let's go down. So about an hour from when I was actually down there, Tony actually gave me a text message of a picture of the block sitting in his driveway and how he was going to wash it with the pressure washer. So I've never pressure washed an engine before that way. Like when I want to clean an engine, you go, hot dip it or hot tank it and get it nice and clean. So this I have a theory, not a theory. There's an expression that all things that grow that are worth growing will flourish in the sunlight and wither in the dark. So I just really want to get everyone filled in the situation. So no smoke and mirrors. This is what happened. And we got the engine down there, or I got the engine down there, multiple personalities or something. So, I get the engine down there. I'm still like really, really excited. I get to, this is a crazy adventure. And when someone approaches you saying, hey, do you want to do a crazy adventure with cars? You say absolutely. And I don't regret it. It was an awesome thrash. And sometimes I get a little ahead of myself, period. And this really kind of ballooned out of proportion as far as budget goes. There's probably, and we're going to get into the parts we're going to have to pick up soon. We did get the new oil pump, which we probably really didn't need, but a high volume oil pump is going to do us a little bit of justice in the long run. And we'll get to what we have. I've been talking to Nick, John. Once again, you two, thank you very much for helping me out. I'm used to building overhead cam engines. There's no push rods. There's no worrying about lash. None of this. You just put it together, and it's as long as you torque things down and you torque it properly. You know, you might have to upgrade your springs. You know, dual overhead cams are a totally different world. So this is totally new to me, and I like to, you know, I love to expand my horizons. I've built 7M Supers, and they're just, I can build them in my sleep now, and it's not very fun. I love to experience new things, and you really can't get any different than a flat tappet, you know, classic Mopar engine. It's totally different spectrum than even what I was working on just recently, the LS engine before this. So I was absolutely on board. And we got it. I got it down there. We started pulling it apart, or not pulling it apart, putting it together and everything. And it was dirty. It was, you know, if you watch, there was wind blowing around. But as far as, I feel like someone's trying to put all the dirt that was in the engine just on my heads. I think that's kind of a little bit crazy, and we won't go there. So we got it put together. We put it in the truck, and I drove it home. Originally, our goal was to go up to Nick's garage. And unfortunately, Nick, that week, because, you know, things happen, and Murphy's Law, that week, he had 3 transmissions fail on him. So he was completely slammed, and he was unable to get us in there, which, you know, kind of a bit of a setback. We already had everything set up with going through the border. We had the duty taxes and everything. So there's that right there, and which I'm not upset about. I mean, you have to think Nick was doing this out of like just being awesome. He was gonna dyno the engine for absolutely free, which that's the, you know, normally a dyno, an engine dyno day is like $600 per day. So huge thanks for Nick. I feel like this whole thing has been like really stressful for him too, because, you know, he runs a business. And he was fantastic. He was like a surgeon up there. And, you know, he was worried about one thing and one thing only, and that was why there was such a bad fluctuation in oil. So we go ahead and, you know, I asked him. I know some people are like, well, why did you even put the, you know, the power to it? I asked him to do it. It was on me. 100%. He was hesitant, and he was like, we really should figure this out. I'm like, well, we're up here, we should do it. And half of the fun is of the adventure, not so much anything else. And that's my opinion. And so we go ahead and we do the mad thrash on the engine, and I'm very conservative with a lot of things I do too, but this whole thing was just got me so pumped up. Once again, Icarus reaching for the sky, you know, for the stars, and, you know, his wings melt off because maybe he got a little bit carried away. And but I tended, you know, I'm like a dog with a bone. If someone wants me to do something, my goal in this thing was, he reached out to me and told me I had to get through the border, and I'm like, Tony did, and I'm like, I can do that. Obviously, my mission for this entire thing was to get in a car, get the engine out, pull it apart, bring it down, we'll assemble it live, and then my second half of the mission was get it from there to Nick's garage, and then dyno it. And I think it was a mission accomplished. It was, you know, way more expensive than I was expecting. In fact, perhaps when he suggested that we were gonna, he was gonna get my channel 20,000 subscribers, I got a little carried away and I'm spending a little bit too much money. And quite frankly, it's staggering how much I spent on this whole collaboration. Like if you include the parts, because now I have a car to fix as well. The total all in, and I once again want to be completely on. If I'm not reading the comments, I'll catch up to them in a little bit. I just want to get everything out to you guys, and then we'll talk. That's why I did a live. I was thinking about doing a video about it, but I really want you guys to have interaction. This is my hobby, and I really want you guys to be, you know, part of it. I don't want it to be just me. So we'll do crazy things. You know, you may not always agree with me putting like an LS in the 81 Ram, but you know, this is a big experiment and I want everyone to be part of it. So we'll get to the comment section. I'm got a one-track mind right now. So we get it back down and I'm like trying to figure out, because once again, coming from dual overhead cams, you don't have to worry about lifters leaking oil. So I talked to Tony till about 2 o'clock that morning, and I appreciate that he was up that late trying to troubleshoot this, but unfortunately, I think we were a little bit on the wrong track. So our push rods are a little bit short because the lifters, and I sent I sent Tony a text with all the stuff that ComCam was gonna, you know, they weren't hooking us up with it, but they gave us a pretty decent discount on it. And in the actual conversation with Tommy, I took a screenshot of the email and I sent it down to Tony. And I know Tony's very, very busy. Like right now, he's working with Kiwi and on the Hemi. So, you know, he's a very go at it, you know, one track mind kind of guy. So maybe that's why I haven't heard from him. But when I was talking to him, ComCam actually said that it had to have adjustable lifters to make the gap distance. Actually, I'll read the exact email because I want you guys, because you guys might try to recreate this. I want you guys to have the information that, you know, all of the information. So let's see. So on my list of parts that I was, thank you guys for the super chats. I saw John sent me one. You have Tails. Also, once again, Tails, you have an awesome car you're working on. I keep thinking the camera's over there. It's over there. So I reached out to ComCam, and Tommy was fantastic. Tommy came out with a great list of all the parts I was going to need. He including the cam spec card, which was 55905. So if you just tell them that you want that cam, you'll get that cam. So the cam card was 55905. The cam cost me $135, which is phenomenal. So once again, great thank you to ComCam. The lifters, they had a list of lifters on the thing, which would have been actually what we needed. What we needed with the not adjustable lifters, adjustable push rods. Yeah, adjustable push rods. Brain's not really. I got all the stuff I'm trying to get into here. So the springs were the 99516 springs. The lifters were the 86, and this is important. The lifters are the 867-16 lifters. The retainers are the 74016 retainers. The keepers, he goes on to different types of things. The valve seals. So basically, they were going to they gave me a list of all the parts I would need for this valve train. But in the bottom of it, and this is where, you know, unfortunately, it got lost between when I texted Tony and when everything was being processed over there. Pushrod length will have to be determined with adjustable push rods. If we had any questions, to reach out to one of the techs. So unfortunately, the push rods that I brought down with me were like crazy short. I don't know why they were the ones that were in the engine, but they were crazy short. And Tony actually gave us stock push rods, which were unfortunately not the correct size for the engine. You guys have already heard all this, but this is where things kind of get a little bit different. So the only way that would have worked was if we followed the ComCam's requirement, which was, you know, adjustable push rods. Or I guess you could have done adjustable rockers as well. But the problem with that is now we're really getting out of the realm of budget, which I'll get to the price of the entire thing so far shortly. But and like I said, I get really gung-ho, period. The lifters that we need are just stock 7.5, push rods. The push rods we need are stock 7.5 push rods. But this is where things differ. We Oh man, I have to swipe down for a second, guys, because I have on the camera or on my phone the actual push rods we need. So give me 1 second, and I will. I got to go to my notes. Actually, what I'll do is yeah, I need that because you guys need to know it. I hit the wrong thing. I'll put it in the description down below. I'm sorry. We'll circle back to that. So I hit my my tripod and started to sink. So the actual lifters that we need are, and I'll put it in the description down below, are very, very important because they're actually the exact replacement needed. And what happened was when I was talking to Nick today, he went through the manual, not the manual, the CompCam book, and found that those right there require adjustable valve train. So he went through and he found the appropriate, pretty much stock replacement 318 lifters that were, there's no real difference from the original and what realistically what we needed. And if that makes any sense. So Nick, a big, big, big thank you for spending like an hour on the phone today. We were working out what would need, because we got to get the numbers out of this. You all want to know the numbers. I want to know the numbers. I want to put this in my car. And so he got me the appropriate cost of, not cost, the appropriate lifter model number, a part number from CompCam. And I called up Trent from CompCam and one of the techs there, and I asked him for it. He goes, yeah, we still make them, and they're going to cost, the whole replacement from CompCam is going to cost us, because I'm going to replace the push rods just in case. I want us to have a great success while we're up there. I want this thing to be up there ready to go and not have any problems. We'll test it to make sure we don't have oil pressure issues after we replace the lifters and the push rods, but the push rods and the lifters are going to be $130, $35. So something around there, maybe a little bit less, maybe closer to 120. So that brings me to this adventure that I wasn't really anticipating doing, and I'm you know, I think we've done a pretty great job. We've taken an engine from in a period of a month. We've taken an engine out of a car, cleaned up the best we could in a week, brought it down, built it live in front of 13,000 or in 13 hours in front of all you guys, and then we brought it up to Nick's garage. That was the mission complete. Were the results what we were aiming for? No, but guess what? We'll get a take two at it, and thank God for Nick being as generous as he is. No matter what, Nick said if we can't, if I bring it up there the next time and it's not right, him and I are going to sit down and make it right. So giant thank you for Nick. I really appreciate it because the cost of this this endeavor has been, and we're going to get into that right now. The total cost, that includes buying the car, that includes the road trip, and I got to meet some really awesome people. So I don't want people to think I'm like, I got to meet John. John's an awesome guy. I got to meet Tony. I got to meet Nick. I got to meet Kathy. I got to meet so many great people. Lamb Chop, and it was a mad thrash. It got out of hand. You guys are going to have to sit down for this because I actually sat and crunched the numbers today at where I'm at on this entire build, and 90% of it is the actual road trip, and we're at $7,000, $7,000 to this point. So I like to think that I accomplished my mission, and we're gonna do a second go with the dyno up at Nick's very soon. The big issue is I am not going to deal with the duties tax. We're talking like $600 just in duty tax and fees and stuff like that. So that's going through there twice. The first time was canceled, and so I basically paid for the dyno day just in duty taxes. So yeah, that's a crazy price. I 100% agree. when someone tells you you're gonna or offers a crazy adventure, you can't say no. I mean, so something I said a long time ago is my papa. My papa was a phenomenal guy, and he once told me to live without fear, live without regret, live without fear of regret. And I live by that. And my grandfather, he taught me to just, both of them taught me to be resilient. And my grandfather once told me, you don't actually know, like I believe there's something afterwards, but you don't actually know what's after this. So you have to seize life because you don't know if this is the best it's gonna get. So big shout out to my grandfather who passed away in '07, and a big shout out to my grandfather that is still alive and super awesome. But that's kind of where we're at right now. I did not expect this thing to be as expensive as it has been. But I got to meet some great people. I got to meet you guys, and that's where I'm gonna leave that right now. Oh, that's right. The camera's on this side. I'm gonna pull my other broken chair, and we're gonna sit down and continue our conversation because I have been ignoring you guys. There we go. Oh yeah. So yes, and there's the. It's almost ready. We have to. Well, actually, I just put it up. So it's as it sits is exactly how it was at Nick's garage. We're gonna have to put the new oil pump in it just in case that the grime and stuff that was in the engine. Oh, that's right. The camera's over here. The grime that was in the engine, it could have done some damage to the oil pump. I really don't want to. I don't want to take that chance. The next time we go up to Nick's garage, I don't want to waste his time. That guy is like amazing. I want to bring it up there and I want it to be ready. I don't want there to be oil pressure issues. I don't want there to be anything. So as it stands right now, we are going to replace the oil pump, put new lifters in it, put the 10W30 like Nick was putting in there with the zinc additive. I agree. I always hot tank my engines. Heck, so one of the things I like to do with my engines, mind you, there we go. Is that a little better? The LS going into the Buick GS, which is right next to me on the ground. That's why I was looking down at it. That engine right there, we've done a little bit of work to it. We cleaned and deburred it, and that way it's gonna flow a little oil a little better. This thing I want to be we're gonna go space theme. It's gonna be the mothership of my channel. Hot tank it. The problem with hot tanking it is I don't disagree that it really should be, we can run it a few times. We'll get the oil out and we'll break, or the oil. It's pretty much been flushed already. And at the end of the day, I don't want to ruin the spirit of this engine. So my mission, as Tony came to me, and I like, if I say I'm going to do something, I have like a like blinders at doing it. So he came to me and said, "Hey Brian, do you want to do collaboration? This is what you need to do. Get me a 318. We'll build it live, bring it up to Nick's, and you'll dyno it." I don't want to ruin the spirit of that goal, that mission. I agree with, I just saw John, I'm 90% there. Why go back? When we had the engine up there, I keep saying when we had the engine up there, we sat down and Nick actually pulled the oil pump out, and he didn't see any damage to it from the grime going through the engine. And I'm not going to speculate where the grit and grime came from. I don't think that's fair, and I really don't think that people should be doing that. And honestly, it was a crazy day. So we do have a high volume oil pump right there. So we're going to replace that oil pump. There's probably nothing wrong with it, but I do not want to waste Nick's time. He's he's got a business to run, and he doesn't have to cater to us. So I solely appreciate him and his absolute kind-hearted spirit. You know, he so just to show how awesome he is, and he knows what I've gone through on this, and you know how much I've spent. I've spent way more than this whole thing's like the value of the individual components are. So he suggested, and I 100% to the core appreciate the gesture. He actually offered to fully rebuild the engine and have it, you know, cleaned, do everything that needed to make it right. And as far as I'm concerned, that's not the mission. That's not the thing that I said I would do. And so we're not going to pull this engine apart. We're going to stay the course. We're going to replace the components that need replacing, namely the push rods and the lifters. And that's it. We're not going to ruin the spirit of the build. And no matter what happens, and just like someone posted that I should put a Gen 3 Hemi in the truck. Here's the thing. I had someone tell me that they would rather see the thing crushed than put an LS engine in it, which that really bothered me. So it's getting an LS just to spite that one person. Sometimes those grenaded motor tours are the best. Yeah. Let's see. It'd stress me out thinking Lord knows what. Yeah, I agree, but it's not my mission. My mission was to buy a car, get the engine out, pull the components, bring it down there, and you know, build it. You don't need to replace the lifters, just longer rods. I actually, when I talked to ComCam, they would have to be special ordered, and they would have to be, I'd actually have to go through a manufacturer for them, and they would be like close to like $200. So no, we're like not $200. They would be way more expensive, but we're going to do it. We're going to do it right. We're going to put it together right. The valve setup, it's not to mention we didn't get a really good break in on the engine. It's just best to replace the lifters anyways. So it should be a fun LOS and a RAM. LOL, not a huge fan, but hey, to each their own. Said the guy who put the Hemi in the Mustang. Actually, that's really cool. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. That's where we're at right now. I ordered the parts. They will be here as soon as ComCam gets them out to me, which the last time they got it out to me really quickly. So we are going to put it on a test stand, and we are going to run it until it's ready to go. We are not going to bring it back up to Nick's again until it's right. Repair it and go. Yeah, that's the other thing. I'm not going to go through the border again until they're open. That one, it takes the last time the time we actually were able to go up there. That time because I had a very short window. I was working around when he was available. He said, "Hey, can you get here X day?" Which was like 3 days away. And it took me 2 days and 16 hours on the phone to get through the border. That was not fun. And the whole point of the channel to me is it being fun, and it was not fun. Red tape sucks. I can navigate it. It's just not particularly fun. Old Crony says, I hate my keyboard. So I'm going to start reading the comments now because I'm like really, really far behind. How far is the engine run stand from being ready? I have a plan for that specifically. Honestly, an engine stand and running on an engine stand probably would take a little while, and I want this thing to be ready to go as soon as the border opens up. So I have a plan, but we'll cover that at a later date. I got to keep you guys on your feet a little bit. Back when I was younger, there was a 71 or so Vet with a 426 Hemi in it. Saw it on display in a mall. Holy crap. That thing must have been a freaking monster. Your good lunar engine run stand is critical. Take your time on that, man. Yeah, I have. We're gonna actually sit down and build a stand later, but right now I have a solution that will work right now. Maybe in the future I can move to a small farm in the tenant. I mean, it's very flat, so I mean, sure. John, do you think a 7.55 length would work? You can't. The best thing I can get for this engine. Hold on a second. I actually have the email. Let's see here. So the yeah, they don't have one that's going to be the appropriate size, and 7.55 would actually be too big. So yeah, no, you don't want to adjust it and overcompensate for it. It'd be very bad. Yeah, John said he showed. Actually, John had a phenomenal idea. I really appreciate John. He's like the egghead of Mopar. Nerd, you're a nerd. But no, he actually had a great idea. You can take push rods, cut them, thread the inside of it, like, you know, drill thread, and then put in a little piece inside it, like a piece of small, fine, real fine. You have to do real fine threaded rod, and or nut or bolt, and cut the head off. But you put it in there, and you put it inside where it needs to go. You get it just right, and you can actually check your lash there, measure it out, and have them custom made. But you have to remember, this thing had a very rough break-in, so there's no guarantee we did a proper break-in because the oil and everything. Not on Nick, totally on me. Realistically, because I have, once again, single track mind. I'm like a horse with blinders on it. My mission was that day to get that thing on and try doing it. Unfortunately, it would have been catastrophic. So thank you very much again to Nick for pulling me back from the edge and saying, no, we can't do a full run. We just tried to do two, and we had to pull off of it. So Nick is awesome. I'm not normally one to, you know, go completely ape and just say, let's do it. But I was in the moment. Let's see. But if we do it this way, I already talked to it's going to be right. So we won't have to worry about getting different, because that will actually, the lifters that Nick got me the code for will actually have the right depth of the plunger. So we won't have to worry about that. Let's see. Jimmy, how you doing, Jimmy? With high volume oil pump, you'll need to use a hardened pump drive or it will break. It has a hardened pump drive. Nick actually put one in there while we were up there. Nick was trying to sort out the problem. Nick was like on point. He put a different pump drive in it in case that was like a little bit sloppy. So no, we're set on that. Did we replace the cam bearings when we... No, we didn't replace the cam bearings, and I actually didn't get a good look at them. I actually didn't look at them all. But John said he looked at them and he was very confident that they're all right. He didn't see any reason why they were, you know, oblonged or anything. So I'm gonna trust John. John's built a lot of different types of engines. For example, hold that thought. I'll be right back. I'll be back in like 2 minutes. Oh wait, no. I scrapped that one. I gotta go this way. I gotta grab the 1UZ heads. Oh nope, they're in storage right now, and they're like deep storage. So I'll go see if I have one. All right, here we go. This is a head off of a 19... I want to say a 1980 7M GTE. So if you look at this, I'm gonna have to like angle you guys down a little bit. I'm gonna set this down on my chair so I can. Yeah. So this is a cam out of one of these engines. Once again, dual overhead cam, and it sits just like, well, actually this one sits on this side. So there are no bearings in, oh, you can't see it. So this is the kind of engine I'm used to building. This, oh, man, I'm fat. I need to lose some weight. This is a 7M GTE head, very straightforward. This one came off of an engine, and I think that was close to 15 years ago. And I mean, there's really nothing wrong with it other than it needs new springs and everything, and a new cam. Man, I need to stop eating pizza. But you can see there's actually no bearings. Your actual cam sits right in the aluminum head. So there's no bearings to replace or anything. That being said, every single one of these have to be put together as it sat. So the reason why I wanted to build the LS engine, and when Tony said, hey, do you want to do a collaboration? We'll do a budget build. It didn't turn out to be a budget at all. But yeah, I can build one of these things in my sleep. And it's no fun. I don't know. Some people like to build the same thing over and over and over again. But, you know, it's to me, it's not very fun. You got to have fun in life. Do something you're out of your comfort zone. So, yeah. That's a perfectly good Toyota Superhead. And, yeah, I got to say, so I really appreciated the person that bought us pizza down at Tony's, but doesn't stack up against New York pizza. Just saying. We actually have, I like it thin. I like it crispy. I like my wings crispy. Now, I'm like a food connoisseur because I'm fat and I love food. Chicago pizza, man. Deep dish, I guess. It's not really my thing. The only deep dish pizza I like is Sicilian. I like Sicilian pizza. That's really good. Drew said, same here, I'm on a diet. I'm on a diet. I'm on the seafood diet. I seafood and I eat it. How much was the engine build so far? In parts, just parts, if we ignore what ComCam, you know, adjusted the price as a huge favor, because I was buying everything in bulk and they knew everything that was going on. And I want to say just the parts were probably at around maybe $1,100 to it's going to be about $1,500 now when we're done, because we got the new oil pump, we got the new lifters, we have the new so we probably have around $1,200 into the actual engine. And I don't make a lot of money off of YouTube. I last month was the first month I actually was making revenue. So this is solely passion driven. That's why I, you know, when someone said, hey, do you want to you know, drive 4,000 miles, I was like, hell yeah. Why not? But yeah, no, we're probably around $7,000 all in. So since you're going to open up the motor, I would pull the cam, double check the cam bearings, because it might help control the oil PSI rather than. Here's the thing, right? So when I was talking to Nick, I've pulled cam bearings out of an engine once. That's it. Once again, my engines I build don't have cam bearings. So they're everything is dual overhead cam, and you don't have to worry about that. That being said, it's funny because I was talking to John, and I'm like, you know, I'm used to this thing. It's. He goes, yeah, but they're really complicated compared to what, you know, these things are. Well, at the same point, every math class I ever had, I would do all of the problems the hardest way. And they were always saying how, you know, you're an idiot. Like, not idiot. My teachers would never call me an idiot. They might think that, but once you get past into like complex maths and to like differential equations and stuff, you feel like an idiot 90% of the time. Let's see. Someone said, "LOL, we'll say it again. You have a good wife." I don't have a good wife. I have the best wife. Period. Hands down. You cannot make an argument against it. She watched my twins. I mean, I like to keep them. I really don't like the whole idea of mixing them into the whole thing, but and if my wife sees this, she's gonna be like, "Why did you show me?" And I'll be like, "Because you're beautiful, and you let me do things that no other sane human being would let their partner do." Like, my wife's like the best. But you're gonna like this. So I took a picture with a satellite. I was going for a 70s vibe when I took the picture of it, and it was Stephanie there. Oh, all that talk about pizza. Now I'm hungry. So I tell everybody that because they're like, you need to get in shape, and I said round is a shape. If I don't say that, I say, listen, everyone's struggling to get 6-packs. I have a keg. The keg protects the 6-pack. But let's see. I just found the pictures. I'm trying to find the one where they're. It's hard to get twins to look in the same direction at once. Oh, there we go. So this was before I got my hair cut. Focus. And then they're amazing. So they both love the sounds of engines. I actually moved the cars around so I can move the truck up, and now they can actually see them outside the window, and they are more than happy to look at it. Like Sam goes out there and she's like, "Oh," not goes out. She goes to the big window and goes, "Oh, look at." So yeah, there you go. They're awesome. Anyways, I'm getting really hungry now. Talk about pizza. I actually don't know what we're having for dinner tonight. Oh, that's right. Hamburgers again, because if you want really good food, always make hamburgers or steak. Convince me otherwise. Oh, and if you can, fit a little bit of scotch in there. Or beer. I suppose you could go with beer, but if you're feeling like, you're having a good day, scotch. Pizza sounds good. There is a place near me that makes a hamburger pizza. You got to be in the mood for it. It's not always the best, but there's another one. Why are we talking about pizza, damn it? There's another one that makes a Tommy Boy pizza that is 35 inches in the diameter. I don't know what the circumference is. I guess we could figure that out, but the thing's huge. I want a cheeseburger now. Yeah, me too. God, you guys have made me want food. What is wrong with you? That's really cool. The kids on the hood. Yeah, that was right after I cleaned it up, so it doesn't, it looked nice. Find the compressor finally blew it up. Oh, whoa, what? Mine, the compressor finally blew up. I missed something. Why is compressors blowing up? Don't do that. And have a Pepsi for a drink. God, no. Pepsi's too sweet. You need Coca-Cola. Let's see. We went from talking about the 318 to talking about pizza. Yeah, let's talk about the 318. So, guys, it was AC compressor. Oh yeah, well there you go. It's funny because I want this car to actually have air conditioning, which it was an air conditioning car. So the Super is going to get an air conditioning, which is funny because I actually deleted the air conditioning out of it 9 years ago. The only vehicle I'm probably going to have without an air conditioning is probably going to be the Dodge because it was not an air conditioning car in the beginning. Dang it, guy bought mine new and it got 140,000 water pumps is leak and it's time for a timing belt. Low on, I need water. I just talked for 44 minutes straight. Oh. Someone was saying that I should have my own talk show. If I had a talk show, it'd have to be radio because my face is not pretty enough for that. But I've been told I have a voice for radio and a face for one as well. How am I going to clean out the stuff? Like Tony said, unfortunately, it kind of cleaned itself out. which is not good. But we set out for a goal. I don't want to change it. I look like Jimmy Kimmel. Oh man, he must be an ugly bastard. I was told to have a voice for Braille. Holy crap, that's savage. Oh my god, I have a voice for Braille. Talk radio and classic. Let's see. Talk radio is classic even in the AM radio. It's funny because I like to listen to talk radio, and it drives my wife mad. If there's ever a day she kills me, it's because I was listening to. Ooh, I don't even know what they're called now. Oh, Free Beer and Hot Wings in the morning. I don't care where. I was up in Vermont for like 8 months, and I was. I would play that on my phone so that I can listen to it in the morning. It drove her up the wall. So yeah. As far as the 318, I don't know if Tony will see this video or not. I haven't talked to him in a while. I'm trying to get a hold of him. But I hope that kind of clarifies what the actual issue is. And a big thank you to Trent over at CompCams and Nick for and John. All three of us sat down and worked this out. It was big doings, guys. It was very big. Lunar, I'm hilarious. Someone asked me the other day if I was all right, and I said no. I'm half left. My wife said, and it's like the corniest joke I ever do. My wife said, like, I split my hand open and it's starting to heal. That was right down. You could actually see you could see the silver skin when I first did it. It was bad. And my wife goes, dude, you would, like, if you did something and the paramedics showed up, they would ask you if I was all right, and you'd say, I'm half left. And I'm like, you know me too well. It's terrible. I'm horrible. Like, I was ready for being a dad way before I was a dad. So, and I'm sorry I didn't say hello to you guys. I normally try to individually say hello to everyone, but I wanted to get out kind of what was going on and why all of this started. Listen, you know, I know that he said that, oh, you're going to get 20,000 subscribers, 30,000 subscribers out of it, but I did it because of the adventure. And that was kind of a bonus. It was definitely an Icarus moment where someone dangles, like, the sun is in your face and you're like, oh, I need to grab that. And, you know, you melt your wings off and you fall. But fortunately, when we fell, we didn't drown in the ocean, and the engine gets to fight another day. Good luck with the 318. Stay safe. Are you heading out there, TLC Bear 2? So I talk about bears. So the engine going in the Buick GS came from a friend that has been on hard times, and she was I need a heavy duty dishwasher. How else am I gonna clean my components? It's crazy, but kitchenware is where it's at. So yeah, anyways, oh geez. So one of you guys suggested, I'm sorry I forgot who suggested it. One of you guys suggested I put the dancing bears on the engine. I didn't even know that was a deadhead thing. I'm not a deadhead person. Someday you guys might know the kind of music I listen to, but until then, I guess you'll have to wait and see. Because if I played the music on here, YouTube would personally come down and break my knees. And that would be bad. I should get a dishwasher for my garage. Buy her a dishwasher with floor mat holders. So I was just this close to put powder coated parts in the oven in the kitchen so that I can bake the parts. And Eddie, one of you guys that has actually reached out on Facebook, and we talk quite a bit, he goes, don't do that. Your wife will kill you. And I talked to a few other people, and they all said the same thing. And when 4 people, you can't convince 4 people to agree on anything. But when 4 people tell you the same thing, that's probably a good sign not to do it. Although, I know 4 people might agree that we shouldn't put the LS in the 81 Ram, but so sad, too bad. I'm sticking to my guns on that one. Which, we're not going to cut things up, so we can always, finagle other engines in there down the road. But right now, we're putting an LS in it. Let's see. You didn't say hello. That's triggered. No, unsubscribe. Damn fucking straight. Oh, damn straight. Darn it. Trying to keep it PG. Actually, fun fact. Did you know that a PG-13 movie is allowed to have one F word in it? And seeing how I've already used it once, I can't use it again. So we're still PG-13 friendly. But yeah, I do try to, not intended for kids, but I know people may come on here and I don't want them to, unhear or hear things that they probably already heard. Kurtman for my own dishwasher. Super chat. That's awesome. Thank you, man. Let's see. Are the new LS heads okay? Yeah, they seem fine. I mean, so far, they don't seem warped. I rolled the other LS into the basement, so I had a little bit more room to set up this bad boy. But I am hoping to get the new LS heads, the old LS heads, which the old ones are sitting right there, the new ones are sitting down there, and the new LS engine down to Dan Bandel very shortly so I can get them cleaned up. And once they're clean, oh, and I did a preliminary hone on the LS that I just picked up, and she's questionable. So I'm as far as a straight edge. So I agree, straight edge works really well. I have a machinist edge over there, and it is flat to that. But I don't know. I really enjoy. So not for this engine, obviously didn't have time. I have this weird thing I like to do. Every time I pull apart an engine, a new engine that I've never opened up before, the first thing I do is I bring it to a buddy of mine who will actually 3D scan it. And I get a full Autodesk Inventor CAD file of the actual engine. It takes a lot of time, and he does it as a hobby. So a big thank you to him. I don't want to say his name because I don't know how. He's like a wizard, so he might like vanish and appear behind me and like do like a coup de grace. Kurt says anytime Silverback. Oh, okay. Let's see. Have you decided what transmission for the Dodge truck? Actually, yes. So I was thinking we could go and get a 40L80, but I have all the software for it. I kind of want to go with something a little bit more simple. And you can get a very basic adapter that will actually fit and allow you to run a Turbo 400 on a LS. And that actually will put you pretty close to the linkages for where it goes in the Dodge. So I would prefer to go with the Turbo 400, mostly because if we get one of my bucket cars down the road and we want to pull that engine out of it and say put it in a 1967 Camaro or a I prefer the 67. Just something very similar, not the same one, because my stepdad's Camaro is his. His 67 SSRS is beautiful car. Can't wait. And I mean, it sat for 35 years in a garage, well kept, because life happens, and when kids happen, toys go away. Unless you have a wife like mine who's super awesome. Yeah, so it finally came out 2 years ago, and it's got a 455, and the original engine is actually sitting near it, and that's, to me, all the part. It can be parts matching like that, but in the spirit of fun, it's got a huge 455 in it, or 454. Sorry, 454. Speaking of Buick engines, we have a beautiful Buick engine over there. I would move you guys, but you guys are zip tied there. So how does it feel to be restrained? Or very strange? You're either restrained or you're very strange. It's up to you. I don't really care. Decide. But we have that beautiful, and I keep saying this, I want to build that someday. Unfortunately, the timing cover went with the oil pump, so it's a very expensive rebuild. And I already have like a $600 intake manifold sitting on it, so I'm kind of partial to put that in something like a old Buick coupe or something. Like, I really love to find cars that aren't survivors, things that are right butchered, to the point where it can be repaired. Like, obviously, I have the ability of doing things like a torsion bar cross member. Whoa, a torsion bar cross member. But there's a certain point where it gets a little bit crazy. Like I was watching something the other day, and there's like 4 different types of. Oh, I was watching Vice Grip Garage. I like to watch his older stuff too. And I was watching him, and he got a old Buick that had like 4 different frames all butcher welded together. And I'm like, oh, that thing deserves to be like, I don't know. Someone needs to save that thing. I actually don't know what ever happened to that car. I can't remember now. So now that I've talked your guys' ears off for 55 minutes, let's hear from you guys. Yes, VGG is awesome. That guy, I really like the way he talks. He's a freaking riot. Whoa, I'm being attacked. Are you serious? I just killed that thing just by hitting it with that towel. Holy crap. Wow, that fly must have been at its very end of life. Let's see. Oh, have another really cool thing if I didn't just totally piss off everybody. There's something really cool in the works. There's 2 things really cool in the works. So Unity knows what I'm talking about. If you guys haven't, a very underrated channel is Unity Motorsports Garage. Great channel. Take a second, go over there, hit a subscribe button. Why would I be mad? I'm mad. I'm mad 95% of the time. Not angry mad, just completely off my rocker. Yeah. There's another fly or something was just floating around. How does the new picture and sound? How is the video quality? Is it blurry? Is it what is going on here? I kind of was finagling with the angry pixies that float around in the sky and give us Wi-Fi. So are we gonna pop some? Okay, let's talk about those core plugs. The core plugs are a-okay. After a few heating cycles, they were actually no longer leaking. However, what is leaking like a bastard is the gasket that was in the kit for the intake manifold. Unfortunately, it came with a steel gasket, and that works really good for iron, not so well for aluminum. It's a bitch to get it working right. So we are going to go ahead and get the appropriate gasket so it doesn't leak its guts out. Let's see. My truck needs a new muffler. I had a Cherry Bomb Extreme on my V6 Dakota, and it got blew off by a lot of people asking what V8 I had on my. That's funny. Well, you never know. You could have swapped it. Actually, it's funny because I had someone ask, "Hey, what exhaust am I putting on the 81 Ram?" The original Chevy one that I still have, because though I love the sound of the droning engine, I don't want to have that thing be my mule, and I drive something like say a car on a trailer down to wherever, 4, 5, 10 hours away, and I don't want it to drone my freaking brains out, because even though meaty sounding cars are awesome, it's not good to the drone of just sitting at 2,500 RPMs. They stopped leaking. Debris spec built the leaks. Not long-term fix. I could weld them on, and then they'll never come off. Just kidding. I would not actually do that. That would be bad. Let's see. I just found out my project car needs floorboards. Tony, what car do you have? I'm trying to think which one. I think you've told me in the past. Suggestion. If you have the ability to, I would recommend actually putting in appropriate floor pans in there. If you do larger sections and you do it as best you can, then yeah. Then you can just plug weld it. Nick says shellac. Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of putting shellac on things, and I got yelled at for putting shellac on something that you're not supposed to put shellac on. I was brought up by an old farmer who can keep things running, or he was able to keep things running that should have like melted. He had about 45 tractors, and I might be buying a tractor. There's a story behind that, but I've watched him build carburetors, and he used the slack to make sure that things didn't shift while you're putting it back together. And also, you get a nice, secure gasket, happy, you know, everything. And I got bitched at by it. So this is put together with slack, and we'll see if it works. I don't see why it wouldn't. About the tractor. So I need a tractor, which is great because, yeah, I not that I need another thing to spend money on, but it's a 1942 Chase VA. I really, what the heck was that? It was like a ghost that just went by my face. Oh, there's another one. What the heck? Anyways, it's probably the fiberglass. I need a garage. Let's talk about the garage for a moment. My stepdad just bought a garage probably about 4 years ago, and it was, you know, put together. Beautiful garage. It's, you could fit my house in it, and it's something he's wanted his entire life. And hey, he treated himself. That being said, he has an old butchered garage. Well, actually, the garage isn't bad at all, but it's too short, and we need to get it here. I need to do a lot of prep work for it, so I need something that I can actually kind of move gravel, dirt, and stuff like that around. So what is better than something that was built right as World War II was starting? And it runs, supposedly runs really well. I have to go check it out. I'll probably go down there tomorrow or something. They're asking $2,500 for it, and it is, oh, I can show you a picture of it. I really like old things. I would prefer one of these than like a new Kubota, because if it survived being built in 42 and it made it all the way to here, and sure the heck will be able to survive this guy. And I've been known as Wreck-It Ralph. So, but it was grew up, and it wasn't like a show tractor. It was for a farm. Oh geez, where is it? Oh man, guys, you're like, what's going on? Oh, there we go, more options, see details. So I can't really grab it now, but I should be able to grab it by the end of the month. So hopefully it sticks around long enough for me to grab it. But look at this thing. Isn't that awesome? I don't care what you say. You guys could say it's terrible looking. I wouldn't care. It's beautiful. How much money is into the engine so far? I covered it before, but hey, I'll go for it just for you. I will absolutely go for it. So when Tony came out to me, and it's terrible. Dakota, you're terrible. You're a monster. Horrible. When Tony came up to me and said, hey, or didn't come up to me. He reached out to me, and I was talking to him. He said, hey, let's collaborate. Go get a 318 and a car and everything like that. You know, go pick up a car with a 318. Take the engine out. Bring it down here. We'll build it live in front of everyone. Then you need to bring it up to Nick's and then dyno it. So I was like, absolutely. So I picked up between the car. I know you're just kidding. It's just, that one's got a bucket. Yeah, I need a bucket to move dirt around. So focus. He reached out to me and said, hey, get that, blah, 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 blah. From that point to where we are right now, we're just shy of $7,000. Not what I was expecting. And, like I said, I didn't do, like he promised, hey, or he said, hey, yeah, 20,000 subscribers. I didn't do it for that. I did it for, you know, when else would you have an opportunity to drive 4,000 miles and then dyno an engine at the end of it? So, yeah. $7,000. The engine itself probably has around now, because we had to buy new parts, because, you know, unfortunately, when I gave Tony the list of parts, no, not just $7,000 into there. We're talking the whole collaboration cost me $7,000. When Comp Cam gave me the parts that I needed, Tony said only get the lifters and the cam. He had everything else. Unfortunately, you know, the lifters he had would have done the right trick with and I gave him all the parts numbers and everything, mind you. So just keep that in mind. So you know, it would have been fine if we got the ones that Nick told me, the lifters that Nick told me to get. But we got the ones that, you know, needed the adjustable valve train, which was part of the email. And like I said, I'll put the part number down below for what what we actually needed. So if we had gotten the lifters in the push rods or the adjustable push rods that like they were suggesting, we would have been fine. But in that sense, here you go. This was there's the list of all the parts that there you go. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but that was the list of all the components that that ComCam said we needed for that exact setup. And when Tony said just get the cam and lifters, I said okay. I did get the timing gear set because I didn't want to reuse the old timing gear, which is still sitting right here. We actually got a much nicer timing gear set, so I'm never going to use that. I don't know why I still have it. Garbage. What else? I still think the funny, like the most amusing thing that I got was actually the text message of an engine sitting on the ground with a pressure washer in front of it saying, "Hey, I'm about to clean your engine," and your block, and I was an hour away. So I was like 15 hours into the trip, and I get that text. It's like, oh, okay, it's different. We did pull off of YouTube first. We're not done yet. Well, in my mind, my mission was completed. Unfortunately, I now have to live with an engine that, still needs to be sorted out. So the mission was complete, but we got to go back. No man left behind. Do you like dry lake type of racing? Okay, so I like racing. If I'm spectating racing, so I don't like watching baseball on TV. I know, sacrilege. But I love watching baseball in person. I find it kind of boring to watch on the TV. Same with golf. God, I don't know who, like, my grandfather loves watching golf. I can't do it. I just can't do it. But I've been known to play some golf myself. I suck at it. I used to be really good. But I can hit a ball really, really far. That's about it. It's like nothing else after that. But racing, I really enjoy watching rally racing. Love watching rally racing. Those guys are freaking out of their mind. Isles of Man, that's crazy. The people that race in Isles of Man are just freaking lunatics. No. I drove a motorcycle around a block once. I'm like, no, this is going to kill me. And I immediately parked it back in the thing. I'm like, no, thank you. Which was probably a huge bummer to my grandfather, who might or may not be watching right now. I don't know. But he goes and he buys me a motorcycle, a beautiful Honda Goldwing. And I know my limits, and I was like, no, I will die. This will absolutely kill me. So yeah, I've never been on a motorcycle ever since. So the people that do Isles of Man, completely insane. But I've done drag racing a handful of times. Like literally, I could probably count them on these sets. Probably been to the drag strip 3 times. That drag strips are great because drag strips are honest. They'll tell you what your car can do. There is a little bit of reaction time between you and it, but when you're doing test and tunes, you only get counted when you break the beam and break the beam. So, you might be a little bit off the line from the next person, so that reaction time is not counted. But if you're doing test and tune, it's a very honest way to get your car right. That being said, I love autocross. Autocross is one of the best forms of racing, in my opinion. It's quick. It's very quick. Autocross is like, so if drag racing is for fast cars, autocross is for fast people. I don't know, like, and then you get into the people that are insane and do like, funny car stuff. And that's different realm. Like the people that do that, crazy. As far as NASCAR, I don't know if I'm going to piss any of you guys off. Not interested in NASCAR. maybe it would be something interesting to go see in person, but never seen it in person. So yeah, not a NASCAR guy. Oh, someone got hit by a hammer. Oof. Papa K. I don't know what you said. You must have been bad. Bad to the bone. Yeah, 318 sounded sweet, short of the lift. And the fact that it was timed at like, oh, that's the other thing I forgot. We're going to curb the distributor, which will be the first time I've ever done that. So, hey, we may butcher it, but I guess we'll find out. But yeah, no, we got to curb the distributor so that it can be timed the way it's supposed to be timed. Nick was on the assumption that it was curved. I know Tony originally said he was going to do it, and so Nick probably wrote it down saying, "Hey, it was curved." And then at some point, Tony called Nick and said it wasn't. And you know, the conversation when Tony said it wasn't was at like really early or really late. I don't know. It was after the build, probably like 10 or 11 o'clock, and or maybe it was in a line. I don't remember. I remember it, but it was like super like, yeah. So yeah, Nick probably had it written down and went off of the notes that was original. So we were at 45, 46 degrees of advance, and that's freaking nuts. Like completely off the wall crazy. That's why it sounded like, total horrible trash. Still like, it was pumped to hear it running, but boy, it'll be a lot happier when it's at like 34, 35 ish total timing. But until then, later, gotta run after pizza. You best bring me some pizza. Oh man. P-51 Mustang is great. Oh, it's a great airplane. I didn't see the emoji. I like, if we're gonna get into airplanes, especially World War II ones, I would have to go with the 38. The P-38, hands down. Great plane. 318 back together. No, I still got to pull it apart yet. Comcam, I've been waiting to hear back from Tony. Like Tony is like, must be like straight onto Kiwi's build, which kind of sucks because that kind of left me in the, oh crap. Like I don't build these kind of engines. I already I don't remember this is, oh man, these are heavier than I remember. These are the kind of engines I build. There is no cam gear. This is your cam gear. They still look pretty good. Yeah, this is a Toyota Supra head. That's the kind of stuff. Oh man, this thing is heavy. It may be made out of aluminum, but boy, and the cam gear, like here you go. I have a stack of like the mismatched toys or whatever of just cams. So this is a Toyota Super Cam. Now there's two of them, obviously, but I'll just leave that one over there. This is that butchered LS cam that came out of the engine going in the Buick, which we got really lucky because as we pulled it out, one of the cam bearings came out with it, which is like, oh shit. But it was fine. It came right off. This is the 318. Where is it? There's one of the lobes on this is just totally sketchy. I don't know, but I have like 8 LS cams kicking around too. Like there's this LS cam, which we are not going to use because we're converting that LS engine from a Gen 4 to a Gen 3. So we don't need the variable valve timing cam. That could actually go into the pile of junk cams because no one's going to want a stock cam. That's garbage. Years ago, I drive cross race with quad Yamaha 700. A lot of fun. That's nuts. That is crazy. Drew, man, have yourself a wonderful night. I'm probably going to be hopping off very shortly as well. I kind of hope that kind of painted the picture of what was going on, why this whole thing started. And at the end of the day, even though, I didn't do it for the subscribers. I did it for, getting to have some fun. But, yeah. Oh, Oh ho ho shit. So yeah, I don't know what to think about. I hope Tony's doing well. I really wish he would have gotten back to me. But a big thank you to John Wilburn. If you guys haven't already, I'm gonna say 3 channels today. Go check out Uncle or John Wilburn's channel, Unity Motorsports channel, and there's a channel that I haven't seen him on my live feed, but I'm glued to his channel because I want to see what he does with it. It's Grease Rookie's Garage, and each week I'm going to try doing giving shout outs to people that I really think need to go check out their channel. And there's a lot of you guys like Shop 209. You got to go check out his channel. You got to go check out Bradley Building Junk. That's a great channel. There's so many great channels from you guys, and it is so very hard to go and get seen. Like being on the internet on YouTube is like screaming into the abyss and hoping someone hears you. So if you guys have an opportunity, there's a channel out there that like go help out these people. They need to have way more subscribers. Foy Automotive, Foy Automotive. He started out a few months before I started out, and he's only at 107 subscribers. Go over and say, hey, go over to Foy tonight, right after I get off here, head over to Foy Automotive, say hello, tell him I sent you, and bump his subscribers up, please. I can't even tell you how discouraging that must be for him. It's got to be really hard. He's got he has sub 200 subscribers, and he's been doing it as long as I have. So head over to that channel and all the other ones and show some love, guys. We're all set with the push rod length and everything like that. So anyways, you guys, let's see, tell him to go to big live channels and talk about stuff. It's not my channel. He's doing what he's doing. I just think that he's got some great content. There's some really good channels on here that, like, you have Unity Garage, who's just great content, and you need to check it out. Grease Rookie, he's at 700 subscribers, and he's actually on Tony's lives every so often. Go check him out. I can't stress it. This isn't a competition, There's just so many awesome channels, and they're just in the background, check them out. They deserve it. They deserve, they work really hard. It's a lot of work to, everything you film, like a lot of them don't film all the stuff. Like I film everything. Old Crony's Garage, you are awesome, man. I appreciate you. I really do. Check out Old Crony's Garage. He's got some, I'm going to come down there one day and light a fire under his butt and get him just, ready to fight everybody. Let's see. So anyways, it's not a competition. There's some phenomenal channels that, like you have, I like B is for Build. I can't believe what just happened to, I think his name's Chris from B is for Build. I really enjoyed, and I'm not a Nissan guy, but his, I think that was a Datsun 240Z. It might have been a 240Z, but he put all this, he built some beautiful cars. He just did that Lamborghini. Lamborghinis aren't my thing, but hey, donks aren't my thing either. But if someone wants to do it, that's their passion. Let them go after it, And he just built an Eleanor mock-up combination, modern Mustang. And then the Gone in 60 Seconds, whoever was in charge of that came and not only made him take down all of his work, like 6 months worth of videos, take it all down, and then they took the car away from him. That's terrible. It's like I could not even imagine losing something I just put so much time, so much effort, so much money into. It's just horrible. I don't care. He might make money off of YouTube for it, but that's just not okay. It was horrible. Oh, it was the wife of the creator of Gone in 60 Seconds. Whoever took it away from him, that was the most savage thing I've ever heard. Brutal. Terrible. Let's see. Oh, if you guys have to know about Dylan McCool. If you haven't already seen his channel, what are you doing? Living under a rock? Like, head over to Dylan McCool. He's got, like, he's got the coolest car. He's awesome. Mikey, how you doing today? See, my brother's channel is Destroyer. Oh, if you like woodworking and if you're interested, we have one of our mods. I don't know why I couldn't think mods, but Monty, his brother, started his own YouTube channel working on woodworking. Go check it out. I curved my dizzy as Tony showed and had fluctuation over idle, only limited to advanced slot apart. Again, fussy job. Yeah, I mean, the reason why I was, keen to take this on, other than, once again, I kind of got greedy, and that dangling of 20,000 subscribers, like, oh, I love taking on things I've never done before. It gets so boring doing the same thing over and over and over again. What's Monty's brother? Monty, are you still on? If you're not on, I'm subscribed to it, but I don't know it off the top of my head. Anywho, that's it. This, I just wanted to kind of, like, there's the expression, let's see. Oh man, I'm going to butcher this one, right? So there's a proverb about grass, right? Grass grows, the flowering of grass grows best in light and withers in darkness. So, you guys, whether you believe in, that's your prerogative, but it's a great proverb. And the most important thing is to be open, honest, and put everything out for you guys. At the end of the day, where the dice land, that's exactly what's all up. Like, you can manipulate things, you can try to hide things, and that's not what I want to be about. I don't want people to think that, I'm dishonest about something. If something fails, it fails. If it succeeds, it succeeds. If I do something and then I imply that it succeeded and though it failed, if one of you guys takes on the same thing, and then it fails on you, I'm the asshole. I'm the one that created you this mentality that, oh, this will work. Like, for example, this adventure, this whole idea of, and this is going to piss somebody off, and I already can tell. This entire adventure, my mission was one thing and one thing only. I was told to go get this is all out of my pocket. I was told to go get a car, pull an engine, pull it down there, tear it down, pull it down there, build it in front of everyone, which was awesome. I got to learn some things, and then bring it back up to, bring it to Nick's and do a dyno. That was my mission. I stayed on my target, and I'm very glad I did. And at the end of the day, my mission was a success. And I don't want to say that the engine was a failure, because at 46 degrees advanced timing, I don't care what anyone says. At 46 degrees timing, that engine should have blown up. It's at that point, the reason why your power's dropping. So I sold an engine to a guy, right? And he fucked with it. I actually was very proud of that engine. It was probably one of my best 7M GT engines I ever built. I probably had $8 grand into that engine. And he came up to me saying, hey, because I was going to sell it for like $5 grand. And I had about 500 or 600 miles on it. And he said, hey, listen, I don't have it. I'll trade you this car. It's kind of worth that. And, I'll give you a little extra money, stuff like that. And I was like, well, as long as it gets your car on the road, I'm okay with it. So he drove the car up, and when I sold the car, I don't care if he's watching at this point. He kind of made me upset. He came up with this I've always wanted a 1989 Celica All-Track hatchback. They're a very rare car, and they're worth a lot of money. But this one wasn't one of those. It was, I kind of wanted to cut my teeth on a 1989 Toyota Celica to kind of cut my teeth on it, because I've never owned one. And now I can say I did. And it was a total piece of shit. That thing, it had beautiful pictures of, it was junk. The thing was total trash. There was nothing, like, the engine was junk. The engine he gave me to replace that engine, I don't know if it was any good, but I sold it to a person as a core. I sold that car and that engine for $300. Gone. So I took and I sold this guy an $8,000 engine because he really needed it. And I felt like, hey, I can help someone out. And he fucked with that thing, pardon me. And I'm really upset by this. And I walked him through. I have 5 or 6 people on any given time calling, or not calling, but Facebook messaging me about Toyota, the Mark III Toyota Supra. And I have one guy that drove the Cannonball with one. You know, that platform's a great platform. I don't care what anyone says. So I walk him through getting it right over, 6 months. And he kept sending me videos of it being on like jack stands, and he's revving the piss out of it. And then you could hear it. It's got a little bit of a ping to it. So he's running something wrong, and that thing was dialed in. And I'm like, well, did you use the ECU I sent down with it? He goes, no, I ran a 1987 ECU in place of the 1989 ECU. The 1988 and the 1989 Supers are totally different. He blew that engine up, and he's like, oh, well, you're going to buy it back, right? Like, for $300. It was an $8,000 engine. I'm like, you're out of your mind. So yeah, no, that was probably, the most expensive lesson I've ever learned. Not to just out of your good of your heart, just totally help someone unless you're there kind of helping them. Because otherwise, that was sad. I was really upset by that, because that was actually, if you want to hear what that engine sounded like, you can go to my very first video I uploaded, and that is the straight 6 Supra engine that was in the black car. I pulled it out so I could put my the 1UZ in it, and that was probably 5 or 6 years ago. No, because that would have been after I moved here. It's after I bought the house. So it'd been like 3 years ago. But yeah. And the worst part is I did it, like I made the deal while I was in the hospital with when the twins were being born, and you don't make right to choices when you're in that situation. It was super dumb. It was the worst thing I've ever done. No, second worst thing. I had a blue Toyota Supra with that was the blue Toyota Supra that was set up and could run 12.7. Great car. It was light. It was beautiful. It was, you've seen the cars I own. It wasn't beautiful, but it could do 12.7. And I found a red one with a hard top. Now, the Targa top one's like the Flex. So I was like, oh, well, I found a red one. Why don't I sell the blue one so I can buy the red one? That's what I did. Oh, shit. The guy then tried to get a little bit more horsepower out of it. So he took the head off and he ported it. Now, this kid also huffed paint, apparently. I'm not being joking. That's what he did. And he must have been higher than a kite, because he butchered that head. And when he called, and I had this head sitting there too, it goes, yo, you got another head? I'm like, well, yeah, for like $2,000. That one was that head was fully assembled at that time. I'm like, I'll do $2,000 for it. He goes, no. The engine you gave me was junk. And he showed me pictures. Those I never ported that. Those the Toyota engines, they don't need to have ports done to them. They really don't. They're pretty set where they're at. I'm like, dude, what the hell did you do? Oh, he ported it through one of the water jackets. Like, what the? So yeah. The car sat for 2 years, and his father crushed it. So yeah, that was my Supra when I was in college, and I got into some, pardon the term, but I got into some hood rat shit with that. So yeah, Christian, thank you very much, man. I hope you found a new car. I know you had a bit of issue with your Cadillac, and which is really sad, because where he lives in Austria, that's a rare sight to be seen, a Cadillac. But yeah. It's 88 minutes in, guys. I hope that clears things up and where we're at. So, have you ever heard of a single-cylinder engine jumping timing 90 degrees? No. How does that happen? Oh, man. No, but I had a steel chainsaw have a crankshaft cracked in half. That was funny. Good night, Tales from the Junkyard. Check out Tales from the Junkyard. He's building a beautiful... correct me if I'm wrong. Is that a 65 Barracuda? I can't remember. I think it's a 65 Barracuda. But sweet, sweet car. But that's all I have for you guys. Oh, yeah. Edward VP is working on a 440, and he just got a really cool supercharger for it. So go check out his channel too. If you want to talk about your stuff in my my feed, as long as you're not spamming it, go for it. I want everyone here to be successful. It's so hard to get like eyes on your channel on YouTube. So do it. If you don't have the time to do it in the live feed, head over to Lunar Outlaw. I haven't changed the name of it yet. Christ. Head over to Lunar Outlaws Garage, Automotive Enthusiasts on Facebook. Join that group. Talk. Just talk to each person. Get your content out. Get your projects out. I like watching them. I like looking at them. You know, with no car shows, you guys are my only form of entertainment, looking at cars, because otherwise I have to watch what is it? Motor Trend on Demand, and I've already watched all of the Roadkill, and I'm on to watching the stupid. Like, not that I think it's stupid, but boy, like, it's cool cars. I wouldn't do it, but Grease Monkey's Garage. They make some interesting things here and there, and some things are like, ooh, I wouldn't do that. But hey, to each their own. That's the beauty of automotive. You know, that is the beauty of automotive enthusiasts around the world, is to just enjoy ourselves. You know, that's the point. That's it. There's nothing else. Listen, you can get into politics with people and they want to beat you to death. You can't bring that into the automotive world. You can't. You know, shit happens. You know, things don't go to plan. You'd hate to see bad blood form. But that's it. Oh, unless, of course, you're a Honda or a Mustang guy saying you have VTEC in your car, in which case I hope there's a special place down below for you. That's it, guys. I'm going to go have hamburgers because I don't want to cook them too late. All right? Have yourselves a wonderful day. I hope, you know, I don't create bad blood out of, you know, trying to lay everything out into the light. And honestly, if bad blood comes from laying things out into the light, then so be it. You know, I'm not a person that wants to have things grow in the darkness and wither in the light. So until the next time, guys, remember, keep her shiny side up, and God bless.